My name's Madeline Brady. I'm initially from Ocean City, New Jersey. I like to be on site interacting with people. So a friend of mine introduced me to recruitment, had no idea what it was, still felt like, right away I did like it, but I felt like there were still factors missing. And then I was actually on a run, was listening to a podcast of yours, and I remember just thinking, this is where I need to be. And I remember a specific moment, and sometimes when I'll actually go on that same run and go back to that same place when I feel like I need a little bit of extra motivation. Like, I can't believe in that exact moment I was like, I need to work at this company, I need to work for these people, and then ended up getting the job by the end.
You've moved around a lot. Like, what drove you to move to these different places? I mean, like from New York to where you come from originally.
So, physical location. So I think where I'm from is very small beach town, as I said. A lot of people are teachers and firefighters. It's not bad careers by any means, but it's a lot of people doing the same thing over and over again. And I felt very much from the beginning that I didn't fit in my town. It's a big surf-dominated town. I think I did fit in, but I didn't. I was able to play the part and be in the mold when I was there, but I always felt like there was something more for me out there. And I think that's why I struggled so much to really find my footing, because I knew there was more for me out there, but I couldn't pinpoint what exactly it was, especially once I lost the direction with the fashion. I very much felt like, oh, I had failed, and I was only 18, 19 years old, but thinking like my life's over, like that was my opportunity and I dropped the ball, and not realizing that sometimes you really don't know the trajectory of your life, and that's when you actually build the skill set. Because back then, if things would have gone my way and things would have gone nicely, I wouldn't be who I am today and wouldn't be as hungry as success. I think I've always had that spark inside me, but to really get to where the hunger is there and prevalent, you have to go through the hardships.
I completely get what you're saying, right? And people, when I've had interviews before, people say like, what makes you, drives you? And people say that to people that do like extraordinary things. Like Tony Robbins talks about this, right? Is to be great, you've got to do extraordinary things. You are someone who wants to do that. The runs that you go on to, you know, you get in early, like you have like this desire to be great. Like, where does that come from? What fuels that? It's rare.
Yeah, honestly, I do a lot of self-reflection on this as well. It's a combination of things. I think definitely there was something always inside of me, and I think it comes from early childhood, a feeling of being underestimated, or just feeling like that I wasn't marked off to be this incredible person in whatever key area of my life I decided to go into. And I just felt like time and time again there were things that people would say to me, oh, you can't do that, or like just hearing that over and over again. And then just initially not being designed to be that person, or not having that be set up for me for a young age, I think started the spark. But then definitely the failures along the way and experiencing the setbacks. And then for myself personally, so over 5 years ago, I got sober. So I struggled with a lot of addictions. I had multiple eating disorders. That's why I really essentially had to leave school. So having to go through that, I think really just took me to the next level. And that's something I think a lot of people have the perception of. Once you go through something like that, like your life is done, when I feel like that started my life.
100%.
Because once I was able to make it to the other side, I feel like that's when I realized, like, this is my time. I need to do something big with my life. And also just my mindset. I think just working on my mindset that I can't really relate to people that just want to like go through the motions. Like, I just feel like I need to be doing more, and I just I think I'm very aware of the fact that we only have one life, and that time's running out. Like, every single day you're one day closer to dying, and I can't understand why people wouldn't want to make the most of their life. It's really like a huge combination of all of that, the childhood, the trials, and then just the mindset that I can't imagine anything different, that you wouldn't want to get the most out of this life.
Because I talk about this, and a lot of people they can't relate to it. We talk about InterEx, about being like top 1% and be part of the 1% and all of this, and you are the definition of that. And there's something about you where you will, it's not could, you will go and do special things. It's a matter of time now. Things start clicking, you've moved into contract, maybe previous role didn't go so well, you're excelling, you know, it's everything about you, it's a matter of time where it clicks, goes together. Our top biller didn't do a proper 360 deal for nearly 12 months. So sometimes it takes time and it just clicks. But you show a sort of work ethic, a mindset, ambition and hunger to just go and want to be better than everyone else, which is so rare. Why do you want to think like that?
Yeah, I want to think like that because I want to be the best I can be in every area of life.
What drives that though?
I just can't imagine anything different. I definitely have always been very aware of death and of the fact that we only have one life on this earth from a young age. Like tracing thoughts back, I remember thinking about that probably too often for a little kid. But I think I just need to see where my potential is. I need to push the brink of my potential, even in things like running. Like I just did my first ultra marathon, never thought I could do it. Immediately, I want to do a 100-miler now. I want to push every boundary in every area of my life. But I think one thing I often think about, and I have all my key reflections and have these mindsets come to me while I'm running. So running is a very pivotal part of my life. But I'll think anyone, like when you think of Tony Robinson's or David Goggins or any one of these people, they don't have anything that we don't have. And I don't think people realize that. And that's something that I really took to when training and when doing the ultra marathon. Actually being in the ultra marathon was the best experience I've ever had in my entire life. I've never been happier, and I was just thinking like that, like so many people think they couldn't do this and think, oh well, Maddie's a runner, so that's why she could do that. But there was nothing in my past that suggested that I could do something like that. But I not only could do that, I could go on and do something bigger than that. There's no skill set that people are born with that other people can't get to. It might be harder for some people. If I wanted to be a doctor per se right now, I would have to go back to school, start at square one. It might take me 20 years, but there's no reason to suggest that I couldn't get there. And people don't believe in themselves at the end of the day.
So I love everything you're saying, right? It's infectious. I love being around people like this. Grateful that we have you in the business, but there's a lot of people that don't think like this. How have you got this way of thinking? There's a lot of people that will probably watch this and think, she's relentless. You want to prove a lot wrong. What would your advice be to people that to get to that mindset you've got? How do people get to that?
I think it's a very intense mindset that sometimes you have to think of areas that you don't want to think about. And that's why I think a lot of people shy away from this. Looking at my family history and like my parents, my grandparents, whoever it may be in my family, like how could they have done everything they could have done and had their own addictions and issues and just still gotten to this point for me not to do everything in my power to level up even the family and then give my future children the opportunity to be one step further ahead. Like I just think very intensely. I think that a lot of people, I think in today's world, especially with social media, there's great parts of social media, but then there's a part that's almost diluting society where people are, oh, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce in New York, like who cares, about this nonsense? And people just, I think, because the fact that we only have one life on this earth is such a scary, uncomfortable fact. People hate uncomfortable. They don't want to think about that. They want to get distracted by all of this escapism. So there's the obvious escapisms, like the let's just go out partying, let's just black out, let's just drink. And then there's the not so obvious, let's just go on TikTok for 6 hours and like just worship Taylor Swift or whatever your escapism is. And that I think really takes away from how could you be at the best? How could you be hungry for more if you aren't actually like thinking about these uncomfortable facts of life? So I think, just thinking relentlessly. One of the things I just wrote on my desk is like, burn the boats. Like, there's not a plan B. I have to become successful. And I just believe that the laws of nature and the laws of the world, that if you put enough out into the universe, that you will get there. And the only thing I've thought of is when I'm thinking like, is there a difference between me and the top people in their fields and whatever it may be? The only difference is they just kept trying and trying and trying. So I just think not getting discouraged. I don't think a lot of people have the mental bandwidth to just never give up. And just, that's like, I'm kind of fastened in at this point. Like, anything could happen, and there's just no way I'm giving up.
Love it. It's not for everyone, right? We're in an industry which is sales. Sales is limitless. If you got into sales for the right reasons, usually financially free, made something of myself, prove people wrong, you're living up to that. Not enough people get into sales and recruitment and live up to why they got into it, and then they look at other people like yourself and think, wow, like what she's doing is great. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
It's great. Matter of time before you live up to everything you want to do with this mindset, with this work ethic, with your just everything you want to do, your belief system. It's impossible to fail. Thanks for showing everyone, telling everyone exactly the way that you think and why I think you're great. Keep going.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.